Welcome back to the Ants Subang YouTube channel. Today, I am going to show you guys a few ant species which I caught a couple of days ago, but by the time this video is uploaded, it will probably be weeks already. This is a golden ant alate which has already shed its wings. She belongs to a genus of spiny ants, polyrhachis. This particular species is Polyrhachis beckeri, a very well-known species due to its golden appearance. There are many other species that have a golden sheen, such as Polyrhachis dives and Polyrhachis illaudata, which I can name, but beckerii is one of those golden ants that have a metallic hue to them, which brings out their beautiful coloration. I bet there are many other Polyrhachis species out there with these kinds of colors, ranging from bronze to silver to gold. Polyrhachis ants are generally monomorphic, whereby worker ants are identical to each other. Most Polyrhachis species are arboreal, meaning they live mainly on trees, where they will weave silk to form their nest. However, some species build their nests in the soil, the base of tree trunks or fallen tree branches. Polyrhachis beckeri is one of the species that frequently nests in the ground. This queen is about 8 to 10 millimeters in length and, from what I can gather, she is diurnal, making her active at night. By looking closely at her, she is covered all over by short, dense hairs that give her a metallic sheen. There is something about the lighting from the sun which gives it a much more prominent golden color compared to the camera lighting I am using. Since the day I captured her, I have been feeding her sugar water, hoping that she will lay her first clutch of eggs. I know they are one of those very sensitive species that needs attention to food and setup. Therefore, I am doing all I can to keep her healthy. I am really hoping that she is fertile. In the past, I did attempt to keep this species, but the queen died, leaving her broods behind. I am quite bummed about it, and if this one succeeds, I will be over the moon. Moving on to another genus which I caught, the pseudolasius ant. These genuses are mainly confined to Asia and are found mainly in tropical climates. From what I can gather, they are not true lasius ants, but actually a subgenus of the Formicani family, hence the pseudo-acronym. I have always wanted to keep this species, and I have caught a couple in the past, but I haven't gotten lucky on a fertile queen. I know they are polymorphic, having minor and major workers in the colony. This species, in particular, is very yellow to orangey in color and she is 5 to 6 millimeters in length. She is a very active lady, and I cannot comment much about the workers since I haven't got any yet. I did come across an article saying that they produce eyeless workers. I am not sure if that holds true, but it will be fascinating to have a blind colony of pseudolasius in my collection. Last but not least, an unknown species of Polyrhachis which I have kept for some time now, not knowing what species they belong to. The colony contained one queen and 40 workers and was extremely slow in colony growth. They also show aggression whenever I intrude on their nest. Unlike other Polyrhachis, this species is particularly beautiful with multicolored workers. I know they are callow workers, but they have already been enclosed many weeks ago and yet they still carry different shades of color on them. Unlike the Polyrhachis dives and Polyrhachis modesta, which I have, it doesn't take that long for their exoskeleton to harden. In fact, it will take just days before the workers take on the shades of each other. Another thing to notice is that the colony has different sizes of workers, which is very uncommon in Polyrhachis. The larger workers are like the nest guardians, and they seldom venture outside the nesting chambers other than to come out for food and water. They are also known for carrying dead workers around, giving them the final rites by parading them around the nest. Another trait these larger workers have is that they are always respected by the smaller workers whenever they are nearby. When the larger worker is present, the smaller workers shrink themselves, making themselves look smaller. They don't do particularly well in cold temperatures, so I keep them at 26 to 28 degrees Celsius. I have just cleaned out their nest, so you might see them in an unobscured view because they tend to weave silk all over the nest. The workers weave silk together with organic material such as pupae shells using the larvae. The silk, when fully cured, resembles a piece of paper but is very soft to the touch. Many polyrhachis keepers offer other objects in the nest to encourage nesting, like pieces of dried leaves or branches or sphagnum moss, which they can use to glue together with silk to form the nest. I haven't been doing that for a while, and since using this nest, I was able to keep them alive. The setup is still very simple, but at some point you can add sticks or tree bark to create more surface area in the nest. At this moment, the colony doesn't look like they need a lot of space. If they do, I will perhaps be able to connect another formicarium. Currently, the setup is practical for the moment, and I could look closely at them, but before, their silk was all over the nest and even on the floor. The species is not very active, unlike the polyrhachis dives. For the most part, they hide in the nest and near the water feeder. The most active time I see them is when food is given. The workers are also very good at drinking honey water, which they really like a lot. The colony is growing well. The outside world is always full of workers, and when I feed them, they are immediately on top of it. I think this is a really nice species to keep for beginners. Another thing I forgot to mention is that they are good climbers and they have sticky feet. At one point, they were able to climb onto the cover even with the anti-escape barrier. Now they have learned not to, since they will need extra effort to climb it, not before falling countless times. So far, I haven't had any problems with the powder barrier I use, which is highly recommended. If you have watched up to this point, I very much appreciate the time given towards this video. I hope I did the ant justice by showing them in close proximity to showcase their beauty and their design. For now, this is the end of the video, and I will see you next week. Thank you for watching.